Hello lovely people! I am here today to do a review of a book I read recently called The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, a part of my TBR for the month of August. And I decided that it was such a good book that I would go ahead and let you know how I felt about it and recommend it, and just some information about it. So I'm going to start with the description of the actual book. I've gotten this off of Goodreads. A captivating debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Chang'e, the Chinese moon goddess, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. Growing up on the moon, Jingyin is accustomed to solitude, unaware that she is being hidden from the feared celestial emperor who exiled her mother for stealing his elixir of immortality. But when Jingyi's magic flares and her existence is discovered, she is forced to flee her home, leaving her mother behind. Alone, powerless, and afraid, she makes her way to the Celestial Kingdom, a land of wonder and secrets. Disguising her identity, she seizes an opportunity to learn alongside the Emperor's son, mastering archery and magic, even as passion flames between her and the prince. To save her mother, Jingyin embarks on a perilous quest, confronting legendary creatures and vicious enemies across the earth and skies. But when treachery looms and forbidden magic threatens the kingdom, she must challenge the ruthless celestial emperor for her dream, striking a dangerous bargain in which she is torn between losing all she loves or plunging the realm into chaos. Daughter of the Moon Goddess begins as an enchanting romantic duology which weaves ancient Chinese mythology into a sweeping adventure of immortals and magic, where love vies with honor, dreams are fraught with betrayal, and hope emerges triumphant. I think it's a very apt description of the entire book. When I picked up the book initially, I got it on Libby through the library system. So it's on Libby if you guys are interested and aren't wanting to commit to purchasing the book yet. That's what I use the library for mostly, is that I borrow the books that I think I'm going to like to read, try them out, read them, and if I don't end up liking them, then I don't buy them. And if I do end up liking them a lot, like this one, then I go ahead and purchase them. And so, Libby and the library system is just, I think, the very best way of curating your personal collection. So that's all I have to say about libraries in this video. When I initially was thinking about reading this book, I thought it would be a lot like The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which was a book that gave me a lot of Studio Ghibli vibes. That was like the movie Spirited Away. But it actually wasn't. It was more like Hero, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sort of thing. And it was on a more epic scope, where Girl Beneath the Sea was kind of on a smaller scale, if that makes sense. It was just a tighter story, where Daughter of the Moon Goddess was just a broader, more epic book and kind of spanning a bigger story, if you will. Which is also why it's broken up into a duology. So those were my initial thoughts going into this book. It was going to be more like that, but it wasn't. It was a bit more grander scale. So kind of in summary, you follow the main character as she progresses from a pretty naive character into a robust warrior over time. And she has to earn her place. She has to learn archery, she has to learn how to fight. And the story itself kind of starts one way and you think it's going to go in one direction, but then it moves a different way. So there's a lot of kind of zigging and zagging throughout the plot, which kept it fresh, which kept it very interesting and kept the pace going. All the while, kind of during the zigzagging plot, there's an undercurrent, the line that she is trying to free her mother, the moon goddess, from her captivity. So I thought that the book was really well put together. I thought it was very interesting. It kept a good pace going. It never got too slow. The beginning may have been a touch slow, but nothing too bad. But I enjoyed I enjoyed the book very much. I like the characters a lot. The main character is Jingyin. She starts out as, like I said, a very naive character, and she kind of learns over time who she can trust, who she can't trust. She falls in love, but she thinks that love is a little bit dangerous. She doesn't want to commit herself to anyone fully because she doesn't really know who she can trust at first. Her mother, Changyi, we don't really get a whole lot about Changyi. We get stories about her, and we get to see what her life is like in the beginning when Jingyin is living with her on the moon. But otherwise, you don't really know too much about Changyi. You kind of learn throughout the story her beginnings, where she came from, and then how she ended up where she is. The Prince Li Wei is our protagonist's kind of love interest at the beginning, and she falls in love with him. He's the prince. He's knowledgeable. She starts out working as kind of an attendant for him, and she earns that. She wins the contest in order to study with him, and then through that avenue, she ends up learning to fight. She learns about what she can do once she learns, more as she becomes more educated, and as she learns how to fight and learns to be an archer. So Prince Li Wei gives her the opportunity to do that, and they end up kind of falling in love. He is very desperately in love with her. She's kind of naive to love at first. And then as the plot goes on, the story progresses. At a certain point in the book, she decides that she can no longer spend the rest of her life with the prince as his attendant, and so she decides to join the army. At this point, there's another love interest that kind of comes into play, and his name is Wenji. When he comes into play, they are more like soldiers on the battlefield together. They are fighting monsters, going on special assignments, because she has become this renowned archer at this point, or renowned fighter. And she doesn't really want to be in she doesn't want to go up the ladder in the army, so she's like, okay, well, I'll join the army just as long as I don't have a rank and, I get to choose the assignments that I do. So that was the agreement to go into it. And so she and Wenji fight together a lot. He becomes enamored with her, lets him know her feelings, and so there ends up being this love triangle happening. And all three of them know each other. Prince Li Wei and Wenji know each other, so this whole thing goes on. So what I really like about the story is that I kind of think of it as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hero. I think of those movies when I read this book. The battle scenes remind me of that. The interplay between the characters reminds me of that. But then there's also this element of almost like a K-drama, or a Chinese drama, or a Japanese drama anyway, that they often they do some of these dramas in a mythological setting. So it's like Crouching Tiger, mythological setting with drama in it. So in all the good ways. It wasn't ever too much. The magic system was pretty simple. It's just kind of like an energy chi sort of system, although they never really called it chi, but it was definitely definitely you could draw that from martial arts for sure. So major themes in the book, definitely family. That's the main plot line through the whole thing, is that Jingyin wants to save her mother. That is the entire thing. She doesn't want anything else more than to save her mother. Honor is another thing. Honor is very important to the main character. The only way that she would be able to convince the Celestial Emperor to let her mother go is to be an honorable person and to try and approach things in the most honorable way possible. That was the only way she could think of to actually get what she wanted in the end. Sacrifice is another thing. Man, Jing Yin goes through it. She has to sacrifice a lot. She ends up getting just beaten up sometimes. She has to do a lot of work to become as this expert archer, to become very good at using magic. She has to do a lot of work to get into this inner circle, if you will, in the Celestial Empire, to become respected as a person. So sacrifice is another major theme. And of course, achievement through hard work and perseverance. So I think there's a lot of good story elements in there, a lot of good major themes in there. So I would recommend anybody read this book based on those themes alone. If you want to be a good person, you learn through these major themes for sure. And I mean, I think that's about it. I think it was like I said, an absolutely wonderful book. It's a gorgeous book. The writing is gorgeous. The covers, I've seen 2 different editions of this, and I want to get the edition that has the flowers on it. I'm gonna put that edition. I think it's probably the one I'll use here. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and I'll get that one for my bookshelf because I think that it's just going to be so pretty. And when my children grow up and become, you know, I mean, I would recommend this even to, 12, 13, year old as something really interesting to read. It just has some good themes in it, a lot of, interesting perspective, good themes. There's nothing violent in it. It's love that kind of grows over time. It's never too passionate. Nothing ever gets too sexual or too scary or anything like that. So I would recommend it for a younger YA audience for sure. It's just very good. The second book of the duology is due to come out, I think, in November, and it's called Heart of the Sun Warrior. It is expected November 10th, 2022. So very, very soon it will be out. And the cover for this one as well, oh my goodness, it just looks so, so beautiful. I'll have to put that one up here as well. It has chrysanthemums, I believe. And I think that the cover of the other one has, those might be peonies. They look like peonies to me. Yeah, I think the cover has peonies on it, which are just gorgeous. So beautiful. So yeah, I think that I will definitely get the next book, Heart of the Sun Warrior. Trying to think if there's anything else to talk about here. So thank you for joining me. I will be putting out another video soon, reviewing another book, this one a bit more adult, so that's always fun to talk about. I should be also coming out with a monthly, with the August wrap-up, what I have actually read this month. So anyway, they'll be keeping this short. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Bye.